because we realize that the way the world is operating today, what is getting people to do more business is when they form the partnerships together, and this traverse across the continents. And so this was very important for us to do that, and we'll be monitoring what some of the things that have come out in terms of the CEOs, what they have been able to achieve this morning when they interacted, some of the businesses they have discussed and how that will go forward. We're already getting a lot of interest by some of the CEOs who are part of the UNCTAD in terms of investments in Kenya, and some of them, we had just about a Chinese investor yesterday who said he's moving his investments from Ethiopia to Kenya, and that's very exciting for us. And so this is just one of the areas we just wanted to showcase Kenya, wanted to showcase Africa. We wanted the CEOs to meet and interact, to share some of the challenges they face as they work, some of the opportunities, best practices. And one of the things that one of the CEOs said about innovation is that we need to embrace disruptive innovation. That's really, really where the world is going to. And so that was a very exciting time for us. There was a lot of challenge by Dr. Mkisa Kitui by asking the private sector to really spearhead regulations that enhance business, and he said, don't wait for government to spearhead some of these regulations. Go ahead. And I must tell you, as KEPSA, we have a very good relationship with Parliament, and at end of next week we'll be holding our annual Speakers Roundtable where we meet with Parliament, and this time it will actually be with both houses, both Senate and the National Assembly, and again is to look at the laws, to look at some of the regulations that need to change, and we make the suggestions of some of what needs to change in the laws that exist, or the new laws that need to be put in, so that business can run efficiently, that we can have more investors come into the continent. We had about FDI. Right now, Kenya is only second to South Africa in Africa in terms of FDI inflows into the continent, and we really are looking forward to really actually be number one. If you noticed the news recently, Oxfam is moving its headquarters from UK to Nairobi. Again, that for us is very exciting, that really we are creating the hub of business here in Kenya. The two areas, there's a big focus on the Sustainable Development Goals, and for the first time I think the SDGs have mainstreamed private sector more than ever before, and so we really are looking at how to entrench the SDGs within the private sector in areas of water, energy, health. And so you will notice there's a lot of meetings now that are happening between government and private sector that didn't happen before, especially around SDGs, and that for us is exciting, and it's one of the deliverables for this. But a lot of focus is on the big investments, a lot of investments around infrastructure, energy, and health. Those are a lot of the areas, but also trade. How do we really make trade flow within Africa and trade flows within continent to continent? And that's what UNCTAD is really looking at, to just enhance the trade between the different continents. And how do we develop the private sectors within those continents? There was a suggestion today, could we have an Africa-wide investment authority, so that we are also looking at investments for Africa, not just each region looking at its own investments. There are three aspects to this. One, it really continues to put Kenya in the map. And this is good for business, because we're really looking at the investors coming to the country. We are very, very focused at KEPSA to really grow both our local and foreign investments. We focus on both, from the small, I'm sure you had some of the small businesses talking today, to the largest. So for our focus is never only one sector. And then so for us, this is very important that the local and foreign investors can interact and do more business. We've always talked about how do we grow our own multinationals. What is micro enterprises today are the multinationals of tomorrow. And so for us, as they interact, as they do business together, there's knowledge transfer, there's capacity building, there's financial inflows, and that's what we really grow our local investments to be the multinationals of tomorrow. Secondly, is that there are sectors that benefit when we hold these big events in the country. Tourism sector, for example, has benefited largely through the hospitality industry. There's other industries, printing and all the others that benefit by when we hold such big events in the country. So in terms of benefits within just holding the UNCTAD itself, there are sectors that have benefited directly, but there are also many who benefit indirectly. But secondly, it's just really keeping Kenya on the map. If you look at some of the most developed countries, for many years, that's what they did. They held a lot of these international events in their own countries, and that put them in the map. And it's because when people see people get to do. Because a lot of times when you read media out there, you don't understand. If you ask many people there about Kenya, they don't get to know until they come and see and visit. And that's why we're encouraging many of them, don't just stay in Nairobi, visit the rest of the country. And we always say you're 45 minutes away by flight to any part of this country.